So hello, Carrie. Matt Daniel here from the Spirit of VMI. How are you doing?
I'm great, thank you.
Good. And with me is my cohort, uh, Clint Hubbard. We do this with candidates that we are sort of trying to deep dive in and learn more about and see if we can't support and specifically um, with regard to supporting things that are going on at Virginia Military Institute. Today's the 6th of October in 2025, and Carrie is an incumbent in the 75th district, House district, I believe, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Right, in Virginia, and up for reelection. Um, I think the opponent's Lindsay Dougherty. Is that right?
Correct.
Dougherty. And we'll get into a little bit more of that. So how do you first of all, can you describe your district, like geographic boundaries and all kind of stuff?
Sure. Yeah. Well, thank you all for having me. I live in the 75th district. I was born and raised here. I've lived here my whole life. I represent the southern end of Chesterfield County. So it's known as Chester and Enon. Basically, if you're familiar with Chesterfield County, anyone who goes to Thomasdale High School is one of my constituents. I have two
Okay.
teenagers there at the high school right now, a sophomore and a junior. And then I represent the entire city of Hopewell, so everything inside the bounds of Hopewell. And then I represent about 30% of Prince George County. A big portion of it is actually Fort Lee installation. And then I represent a big portion of the more industrial area of Prince George, some rural, and a few neighborhoods. So those are the boundaries of the area I represent. And I live in Enon. I live right where, about a couple miles of where I grew up.
Oh, okay. Did you go to Thomas Dale?
I did. I went to Thomas Dale and went to Enon Elementary School, Chester Middle School. Ended up not graduating from Thomas Dale, but I went there for 2 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good friends that I went to school with went to Thomas Dale and then went to VMI. Benny Hill. I don't know if you remember him, Clint, but
I
Bruce
do.
Hill.
Yeah, I do
Yeah,
remember.
yeah, great dude, great dude. And then connections in Hopewell too. So how do you think it's going?
I feel really good. We have been out, talking and knocking on doors with neighbors. I'm a big believer that you shouldn't have to convince people come election time to vote for you if you've been staying connected and listening to people all the time. And that's really how I've tried to lead in my public service. I try to always be out in the community. I'm not big on hosting my own events and town halls. I believe people are most honest with you when you're out where they're most comfortable. So I go to all the cookouts, I go to the picnics, I go to the churches, I go where people naturally are comfortable and just have organic conversations with them. And I feel like over the years, I've listened to people, I've voted based on how my community wants me to vote and lead. And you don't make everybody happy, but I feel like everyone understands that the votes that I've taken have been what I believe is in the best interest of the people I represent in the 75th. So it feels good. It's been great out hanging out and talking to voters.
That's good. I mean, we're having a function on October 16th, I think, in Richmond. I think we have I think John Reed is coming and David Owen is coming to that. So even though you don't do those and you don't host them yourself, we're having one, and you'd be welcome to come and join us if you.
Awesome. Thank you. I'll check my calendar. I appreciate the invite. I love going where people naturally are happy hanging out. I just feel like people are a little bit more relaxed and they're willing to share with you more about what's on their mind, what's bothering them. So versus catching them off guard or having them come into your space and you talking all about what you're doing versus, being in a space where they're already ready to talk and socialize.
Right. Is this your first term?
It is not. So I just completed my third term.
Third time.
So this will be my fourth time. Yeah. So I was elected in 2019. And so this will be my fourth time running for reelection.
Oh, awesome. Good. I'm surprised we didn't run into you before, but I'm happy that we are now. So tell me a little bit about why you're running, and then a couple of the issues maybe that make you stand apart from Lindsay.
Sure. So I think first and foremost, I am big on government staying out of our lives. Government allowing us to keep more of our hard-earned money and making decisions for our families. And so I think that's the biggest thing. My opponent has openly said we don't pay enough in taxes. And I just don't think that's accurate. When I'm out in the community and talking with people, I hear all day long, we want less taxes taken and we want more flexibility to do the things that we want for our families. When we want to have that extra cash to make a decision about signing our kids up for an extra sport or a summer camp, we want the ability to do that. We want our grocery bills to be lower. So that's number one. Affordability and cost of living is a big thing that sets us apart. The second is really around public safety. I have been a supporter of our law enforcement. I have advocated for funding. I've advocated for positions continuously in my time of service. We really experienced post-COVID a huge increase in gang and group violence in my city. I saw it was a problem. I went to the newspapers and said, we are looking for solutions. I was able to meet up with and partner with a group called Real Life, a nonprofit. I obtained a state grant to bring them into our city, and they partner with a task force. I'm part of that executive committee and our police department. And through our very hard work over the past couple of years, we've seen a 40% reduction in group and gang-related violence in the city. My opponent has not supported our law enforcement, has publicly said that she would decrease funding in those areas. And I'm very proud of the support that I've received from our law enforcement community, both locally and across the Commonwealth. And then I think the third area that we really stand apart on is education. It's interesting. My opponent talks about the things that she wants to do, and I've already done them. So she clearly hasn't paid attention to what her local community has been working on. But I've worked hard on improving literacy across the Commonwealth, carried the most comprehensive literacy package across the country here in Virginia. I carried a substantial bill to positively impact our students with disabilities, to guarantee that we have parent advocates in every region of our state to help families understand the IEP process and how to advocate for what they believe their children need. And then the third area, I carried a bill to make community college courses free for high school students across Virginia. One of the things I saw with my own kids, my oldest is at VCU, I have two in high school right now, how expensive it was to take dual enrollment courses in Virginia high schools. And when I started investigating, I realized that depending on where you lived, sometimes it was free and sometimes it could cost up to $600 to take a class. And wherever you live, whatever your zip code is, whatever the quality of teachers you're able to obtain with teacher shortages, you should have free access to challenging courses if you're a smart kid and you want to be challenged. So I was able to get that passed. And this year in July 1st, high school students, those passport courses that are guaranteed to transfer to four-year colleges and universities across Virginia are free for the first time ever. And if you don't have a licensed teacher who can teach those in your high school, you are entitled to receive that access through a virtual program at our community colleges. So really proud of the comprehensive packages I've brought to positively impact education in Virginia.
That's awesome. Talking the talk and walking the walk, and that's good. I'm going to turn it over to Clinton here in a second. But real quickly to explain who we are and what the spirit of VMI is all about in basically one sentence. We were formed back when we were under assault back in the 2020, 2021 timeframe, and formed to be able to try to influence, find people, folks who were running for both statewide and for local offices, to try to see if we could garner support at the politician level. I hate to use the term like that, but at the elected official level, to support the values that represent VMI. And so since then, we've done that on, this is our third, I think, election cycle doing that, and have been pretty successful in finding friends of VMI. And I think with that in, I'm going to turn it over to Clint. He's got a couple of things to ask you.
Awesome. Thanks, Matt.
Sure. Hey, Carrie, we appreciate your time. And like Matt said, we were formed really just to find and cultivate friends in the legislature and in the executive branch and the legislative branch, because in 2020, when our former governor, who was supposed to be one of us, came after us as hard as they did, we really could not find too many friends. We didn't have many people speaking up for us. So that's been our goal, is to sort of improve that and cultivate friendships there. I have to give a full disclosure in that I work for a educational company. So I have been familiar with you for, I guess, since 2021 or 2022 with that Virginia Literacy Act, and company I work for, Benchmark Education, does that's what we do. So I've known of Carrie Coyner for a long time, so it's nice to meet you.
Yeah, nice to meet you too.
And that legislation is really making that's making a lot of, the science of reading legislation, making a lot of difference in educational or in elementary literacy across the state. And I can give you a lot of for examples from real customers in real school divisions, but nevertheless, so as we said, just trying to cultivate friendships and develop friendships with legislators and people in the executive branch. One of the things that we felt like in VMI was kind of being painted with just a broad brush like everybody else. And in our survey that we sent out to you, which thank you for responding so thoroughly, and you really answered most everything that we wanted, but it was we think that VMI is a very unique position. The higher education system in Virginia has a lot of different types of opportunities, from UVA, UVA to Virginia Tech to Radford to JMU to William and Mary to VCU. You mentioned, and VMI is certainly in there. A lot of distinct opportunities for kids from across Virginia, but across the country to partake in as well. So one of our thoughts is, do you agree, and I think you did in the questionnaire, that VMI is a sort of a unique niche, or fills a unique niche within the Virginia system of higher education? Is that accurate? Would you agree with that?
Oh, definitely. I think if you look at, the systems and values you've put in place to ensure that you're holding people to the highest values of integrity and honesty, incredibly important values for every citizen, right? But even more so for individuals who we know want to serve in our military or want to go above and beyond and positively contribute to our community and to our country. That real foundation of understanding the importance of those core values is so critical. I think I reflected in my answers when I was an undergrad at UVA, we had the honor system, and back then, how important that was. And for you all to take it a step further, and just how methodical you are about ensuring, the insistence of integrity, the insistence of honesty, the insistence of those strong morals and values, and it's embedded into everything you do, is just so critical. So definitely unique and important. And foundational to the future of the freedoms in our country, really, right? That we need that as the backbone of all citizens, especially those who look to serve and protect all of us.
No, that's great. Thank you. That's exactly right. And the honor system is really probably one of the cornerstones. And certainly when Matt and I were cadets, which was a long time ago, but it was absolutely the cornerstone, and still should be moving forward. One other piece that you are part of your answer in, we ask all the legislators, have you been to VMI? Have you visited the post? And you, of course, had, and recount that for us, but also any different connections. And we noticed, or I remember, that you had a friend who has a cadet there now. Could you expand maybe a little bit on that? Just your impressions of that young person and what they're learning, and obviously you've probably seen him mature a little bit.
Oh yeah. Well, first he just, it's amazing, the work ethic and taking care of your body. I tell my kids all the time, body, mind, and spirit are all three really important. And you all emphasize all three of those, right, while they're there with you. And you could just see the physical difference and confidence in which this young man, he left here a high school kid. And after that first year, just really, you could see how he held himself in such confidence as a man. And just his training, his strength, getting involved in sports and really excelling in sports. He was highly involved in high school, swimming here, but just a whole new level when he was at VMI. And just being able to see the joy of his parents sharing his photos, his updates, his experience, and how proud they are of him. When families have their kids there with you, and they're able to share that positive impact back into the community, it spreads to everyone, right? Like that positive message of VMI. and the training and opportunities translate to other families and future folks as well. So definitely have enjoyed watching their journey with their son, and just so wonderful. I've known him since he was little, and I was a mite mom on summer swim league. Our boys are about the same age. He's 1 year older than my son, but just watching them grow up and seeing like what a teeny tiny little swimmer he was when he was in kindergarten, and just seeing what amazing, strong young man he's turned into through the efforts at VMI has been great to watch.
Well, thank you. That's probably one of the only good things about getting older, right? Is as you see the young people coming along and figure out that they're, maybe the world's okay, that we've all done a decent job as parents. So
Yeah.
thank you for that. Appreciate your
welcome.
comments.
Yeah.
Matt, I think
Oh, okay.
I think I'm good. That was
Yeah. Okay.
knocked it out of the park for us.
Yeah, really, it comes down to, at this point, should you be reelected? And we hope you will, and we hope to help you do that. And by the way, we've already donated to your campaign, but
Thank
we'd
you.
like to make an official endorsement of you. We'd like to make sure that we're able to connect with you and or the people that work with around and for you, to alert you of things that we see that are happening, or just to touch base and find out what's going on, in the education sphere, the social sphere, whatever that may be. So I think you responded that you'd be willing to work with us, and we appreciate that. I'll give you this opportunity to say no if you say no, though.
I always welcome, our friends in higher education are so critical to the future of our Commonwealth, and for our military. Having an installation right here in my district, Fort Lee, I know how important those connections are, both in terms of education and defense. The freedoms we all enjoy are not free. And it's not lost on me the work that you all do to ensure that we are able to continue with those. So I appreciate it, and it's critical to the families who live in my district, who have men and women who are serving every day. So really important.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, we always close with we try to get the candidate to tell us what we think about VMI, and it's sort of our tagline that VMI is good. And it's a simple statement, should be relatively easy to say, but we try to capture people. We try to catch people on tape saying that. So can you say that for us?
VMI is good.
That's right.
VMI is good.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Carrie, and I wish you luck in the rest of your campaign. We'll send you information about our October 16th event that we're having in Richmond somewhere. Clint's got the details.
Okay.
But I hope to see you and there or somewhere else between now and then. And have yourself a wonderful rest of your day.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. Have a great day.
Hey, Carrie, it's I'll send it to you. It's at the old Regency Mall. There's a Twin Acre
yeah.
Tavern.
If you could send that to me, I'll see. My schedule's insane, but I'll see what I can do.
I understand. And the other thing is, in Hopewell, do you know a guy by the name of Wilson Enix by chance?
I do. I know
Okay.
his family. I don't know him individually, but yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't think Wilson lives in Hopewell now. His parents did, but his company is there, JW Enix and stuff.
Exactly.
But
Yep.
Wilson was our contemporary at VMI. He's a pretty good guy, very quiet. I don't know how much he's engaged in the political or not, but
You'll have to engage him. Tell him to get involved.
if you ever run across him, be sure. And he is a VMI guy. So
that's awesome. It's great to know. Thanks, Clint.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you guys too. Have a great day.
Yeah.
Thank
See
you.
you.
Bye.